The sun's light flared brighter than ever, spilling across the vast canvas of the sky, and yet, in that brilliant glow, a trembling shadow lingered. Earth, quiet and steadfast, spun beneath the sun's gaze, unaware of the danger looming around her. The jealous winds had begun to stir, whipping through the skies with intent, threatening to tear apart what the universe itself had bound together. And in that moment, something unimaginable happened. Sun, in all his blazing glory, fell deeply, irrevocably in love with Earth. But love, even cosmic love, is never simple, and the winds would not surrender so easily. A struggle had begun, and the very heavens held their breath. The sun had never felt this way before. He had burned for billions of years, touching worlds, nurturing life, watching the slow march of time unfold across countless planets. But Earth was different. She did not merely exist under his light, she danced within it. Rivers glinted like polished glass, forests stretched toward him in quiet adoration, and oceans shimmered with every hue of emotion he had ever felt, though he had never known he could feel anything so tender. It was in the curve of her mountains, the sweep of her plains, the soft sigh of her winds before the jealous ones arrived. And yet, the winds were relentless. They had watched him notice her, watched his rays linger, and they were furious. Twisting, howling, lashing across the sky, they sought to rip her from his gaze, to scatter her into chaos, to make her unreachable. They whispered that love such as his was dangerous, that attachment was weakness, and in their shrill voices, one could almost hear the fear of a universe unready for devotion. Earth did not cry out. She did not beg or resist. She simply held her course, her rotation steady and serene, her gravity a calm anchor in the storm. She had known the wind's cruelty for eons. She had endured their sharp tongues and their sudden storms. Yet beneath her quiet exterior, she carried a courage that even the sun had never witnessed. She was not weak. She was unwavering. The sun shone harder, wrapping her in light like a protective embrace. He could feel the cracks in the wind's fury, the momentary confusion when they realized he would not yield. His warmth was no longer just light or heat. It had become presence, a steadying force against the chaos that sought to divide them. Long ago, before he had felt love, the sun had wandered through the cosmos with a singular purpose: to shine, to give, to endure. He had witnessed stars burn out, worlds crumble, and civilizations fade into dust. There had been beauty, yes, but it had been distant, fleeting. The weight of eternal life had been his alone, an unbroken cycle of giving and fading, and then came Earth. Earth, with her silent rivers and steadfast mountains, her forests that smelled of rain and soil, her oceans that carried the memory of a million storms. She had always held herself against the wind's aggression, never bowing, never breaking. In her resilience, the sun saw a reflection of something he had never dared to hope for: partnership, companionship, love. And in his own searing brilliance, he dared to love her in return. The winds intensified, their jealousy now a furious tempest. They tore through the atmosphere with a shrill insistence, flinging clouds as weapons, hurling storms like missiles. Hurricanes, tornadoes, gales. They thought sheer force could drive him away. They believed Earth would bend, but she did not bend. She held steady, her oceans rising to absorb their fury, her mountains standing as barricades, her forests a quiet army of green. "You cannot hold her," the wind screamed, though their voice was only a trembling echo in the vastness of space. "You are fire, and she is fragile. She will shatter. Step back, or be destroyed alongside her." But the sun did not step back. He had learned the power of stillness, of quiet persistence. He could burn with intensity, yes, but he could also burn with patience. He could radiate warmth without consuming, shine without blinding. And so he did. He wrapped Earth in golden light, softening the wind's rage with the simple truth of his presence. Love is not violent. Love endures. The story of the sun and earth was not always peaceful. There were nights when the wind seemed victorious, when dark clouds obscured him and storms raged unchecked. There were moments when earth trembled beneath their assault, her oceans roiling, her forests bending. And yet, she never lost her calm. She did not scream or strike back. Her strength was in persistence, in the quiet refusal to be broken. It was in those quiet moments that the sun realized the depth of her courage. He had thought his own light the ultimate force in the universe, but Earth taught him otherwise. True power was not in burning fiercely alone. It was in standing together. Even when the world raged against you, together, they became a force neither winds nor storms could divide. The sun remembered times long before love, when he had been alone. His surface had flared with brilliance, but it had been hollow. He had seen civilizations flourish on distant worlds, only to vanish under the cold indifference of time. He had given warmth to planets that never noticed him, light to beings too busy to lift their eyes. And yet, Earth saw him. She responded not with noise, not with spectacle, but with quiet presence, a gravitation that pulled at him deeper than gravity itself. In his reflection, the sun remembered a line the universe seemed to whisper. True love is not possession, but recognition. And in recognizing her, he had found a joy he had never imagined possible. The wind's attacks escalated. They whipped at the poles, trying to shove continents from their foundations. They clawed at the seas, attempting to drown mountains and forests alike. Yet every strike they made was met with Earth's resilience. She absorbed, deflected, endured, never faltering. And the sun, ever watchful, intensified his light, his warmth acting as shield, as comfort, as defiance. Hidden allies began to stir. The moon, in her silent orbit, lent her pull, stabilizing tides and calming tempests. The distant planets, often quiet observers, aligned subtly, their gravitational whispers bending the wind's paths just enough to protect Earth. Even the stars, ancient witnesses of cosmic battles, twinkled with quiet approval, their light flickering encouragement across the darkness. The sun and earth were not alone, though the winds would have them believe otherwise. Through it all, the sun's voice, though unheard in the literal sense, spoke through his radiance. I will not abandon her, not now, not ever. And Earth, steady as always, replied in her way, not in words, but in steadfast rotation, unwavering orbit, quiet gravity. Then, I will endure with you. One by one, the wind's fury faltered. They had underestimated the power of quiet unity, the force of persistent love. They had thought destruction could sever attachment, but attachment is not always fragile. Sometimes it is stronger than storms, fiercer than fire, deeper than gravity itself. And in that victory, the sun and earth did not celebrate with noise or explosion. Their joy was quieter, more profound. The sun's rays poured warmly across oceans and forests, rivers gleaming like liquid gold. Earth's mountains glowed softly, forests shimmered in emerald relief, and even the tiniest stream sparkled under his approval. It was a love visible not in spectacle, but in enduring presence, a bond neither winds nor time could sever. The skies cleared, winds, exhausted and humbled, retreated, leaving only whispers of their presence. And the sun, his brilliance softer now, gentler, lingered over Earth, warming her lands, her oceans, her mountains. He had learned that love was not about power, but presence. Not about forcing change, but protecting, nurturing, enduring. In the quiet aftermath, Earth turned toward him, her rotation steady, her oceans calm, her forests glinting with renewed life. And the sun, finally, allowed himself to simply be with her. No threat loomed, no tempest raged, just two celestial beings, bound not by necessity, but by choice, by recognition, by enduring love. Even the distant stars seemed to watch with approval, and in that silent applause, the universe understood a truth older than light. Love, patient and unyielding, overcomes all trials. The sun and earth had married not with ceremony, but with constancy, not with declaration, but with devotion. Their union became a lesson written across the cosmos, that in the face of jealousy, in the midst of storms, in the shadow of impossible odds, love endures. And for every being who watched from distant worlds, there was a whisper of reflection, the strength to remain steadfast, the courage to endure, and the power of silent, unwavering love. And so, the sun and earth continue their eternal dance, a testament to the power of love that refuses to yield. Even when storms rage, even when the world seeks to pull you apart from what you hold dear, it is in quiet endurance that true victory lies. Wherever you are, wherever you watch from, let this story remind you. Steadfast love and silent courage are the forces that shape the universe. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us how love has endured in your life. Subscribe to witness more stories that honor quiet heroes, resilient hearts, and the timeless victories of love that never falters.